Hi guys, and welcome to the Mentorship Corner. My name is Sibiano Mtandazo and I am your host. I hope you've had a lovely week. I hope you had a lovely weekend. To those who celebrate Valentine's Day, I hope you guys celebrated well, I think, with your loved ones. And to those of us that don't, I hope you guys had a lovely weekend. Cool. So for today's topic, today we're going to be talking about goal setting. So I'll just highlight a few things about why it's important to set your goals and how it's going to help you and how to actually set your goals and how to work towards achieving your goals. Because let's face it, you've probably sat down with a pen and paper, or even in your head you probably played the conversation of you setting certain goals and wanting those goals to be met at a certain period, but it doesn't happen because maybe you forget about it or something comes up and then you just lose track of where you are in terms of progress and and where you want to go basically. So today we'll just we'll dig into it. I'll explain a few things. I'll explain what has worked for me and what I found has worked for majority of people, and something that you can actually implement in your life today. So I know it's already in Feb, almost mid-Feb even, but I believe it is never too late. So that's why I was like, okay, fine. Even though the year has started, Jan is over, we're in the middle of February, it still doesn't mean you cannot set your goals or start setting your goals for the year, because you still have a whole lot of 10 months left where you can actually try and work towards your goal for the year. Cool. So let's start. So as you guys know, I have made some notes just to make sure I'm pushing the video towards the right direction, so that I don't just go round and round and round in circles. So yeah, let's get right into it. Okay, so the first thing is, why is it important to set goals? Okay, so the first thing that makes it important to set goals is because it will actually push you to do things. So if, for instance, you have a goal and your goal is to quit your job and find yourself a better paying job, or a job with better hours, or a job with what. So the fact that you actually sat down and you thought about it means, okay, fine. So I'm thinking I want to leave my job because there's a job 1, 2, 3, which is going to pay me better, it's going to give me better hours, these are the better benefits, what. So basically it's like you have that goal, so now you have to work towards it. So you don't just up and leave, because what the hell, you have to you have to put in through your resignation, you have to look for the new job, go for interviews, and do you get what I'm saying? Same thing with school. If you're like, okay, fine, I want to get A's for all of my subjects, okay, in order for me to get A's for all of my subjects, I need to study an X amount of hours a day, study these subjects like that and that, which subjects am I doing good in, which subjects do I need improving, so that you can actually gauge and work around it for you to actually achieve your goal. So goals are important because they give us a sense of direction in life. They kind of guide you as to, okay, so this is what I want, this is when I want it, and this is the plan, sort of behind it, or this is what I'm thinking. If I do, or if I go about doing that, this is what I need to do, type of thing. So it is very, very, very important to set your goals. So when you do set your goals, if you've got a mentor like myself, write down all your goals and actually go to your mentor, approach him or her and be like, you know what, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm planning for the year. Can you please just browse into it, check if they're realistic, check if is there anything or any advice you can give me to actually achieve those goals, type of thing. Okay, cool. So how do we set goals? So I still use it's called the SMART way. It's right there on my notes. It's called setting goals the SMART way. So basically SMART is used as an acronym, And I'm just going to tell you what each means. I'm sure you guys learned this in school, believe me, I'm sure you did. So the S stands for specific, the M stands for measurable, A stands for achievable, R stands for relevant, and T stands for time frame. So in summary, if I'm just summarizing the SMART method, it means you must have a specific goal. So you must know exactly what you want to achieve. You must be able to measure what you want to achieve, basically. So, and you must also, it must also be achievable, something you can actually do, something, achievable. It must be relevant, it must be realistic, and we must always attach a time frame to it. Because if you just have a goal, if you're just like, okay, fine, I am deciding I'm going to save 1,000 rands every month. If you are saving 1,000 rands every month, it has no goal, it has no time frame, nothing attached to it. What's going to happen is, if one of your friends or one of your family friends calls and be like, you know what, I have a punch tire, I need to borrow 2,000 rands to go fix my tires, you're going to be like, oh, I have 2,000 rands. Because why? Your money is just chilling in the bank with no goal, no intention, nothing. The same thing with any other goal in your life. It has to be specific, it has to be measurable, it has to be achievable, it has to be relevant, and the most important thing, you need to put a time frame into it. I can't stress this enough, guys. So if I decide, okay, fine, I want to get a new phone, I have to know, okay, this is how much money I get paid at work, this is how much money I save, this is how much money I have extra. So if I decide to put this amount of money, my extra amount of money on the side, and I decide to save this amount of money for a day, so already you can see for like maybe like 6 months. So for instance, say I want to buy a phone for 6,000 rand. That's worth 6,000 rand. Okay, so what I want to buy, a phone. So what does that mean? It means my goal is now specific. I have a specific goal. I want to buy a phone. My phone is 6,000 rand, which means it's measurable. If I save 1,000 rands per month, for the next 6 months, I will have the 6,000 rands to buy the phone cash, which means it's achievable, because I also have, the extra cash. And it must be relevant. Why am I buying a new phone? Okay, for instance, my screen broke. I've had this phone for the past 6 years. What, and this phone is going to have the newest technology, which is going to help me achieve this and this and this and this. So that means it's relevant. And then you have to put a time frame to it. So I have used 6 months as an example. So you'll be saving money for 6 months for your phone. You're saving a specific amount of money because you calculated how much money you have extra, which means that is actually goal setting in a smart way. So I would like you guys to actually do that for any of your goals. It could be about money, it could be about work, it could be about school, your academics, it could be about anything at all. If you do it the smart way, you're actually going to gauge whether this goal you want to achieve is actually possible, is it actually achievable, or you're just like daydreaming and fantasizing in your own world. And I feel like the minute you take a pen and paper and you write it down, it actually pushes you to start working towards achieving that goal, instead of just saying, see, if you keep having those goals and no action, nothing is going to happen, So you have to write them down, and then have an action plan and be like, okay, fine, this is how we're going to go about doing it. This is when I start, and this is what I expect to see like in the end of the process. Got it? So another thing I wanted to touch on with you guys is that don't just set goals for that year. So I do this thing where I set goals for the year. So for instance, I have set goals for 2018. I have goals for the next 3 years. I have goals for the next 5 years. I have goals for the next 10, 15, 20 years. Some people even go to like 30, 40 years ahead. So it depends on what you actually want to. So what I'm basically trying to highlight is that don't just set goals for your short term, for only the short term period, because you're still gonna live, okay? I know we're all dying, but we're not all dying now. So set your goals for short term, have short term goals, have long term goals, and also do like a goal review thing every year to see what exactly have you achieved, how far are you with your long term goals, and what you need to actually start changing for you to start achieving those goals. Another thing I actually put notes that is that for your short-term goals, have a goal each day. Basically, try to have a goal for each day. If that's going to be a bit too much for you, try to have a goal for at least each week. So have a goal for this week, have a goal for the month, have a goal for the next 6 months, have a goal for the next year, and then you can start having a goal for the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, depending on how you want to space it out. It also depends on, how long you think it's going to take for you to achieve your goals, type of thing. So that's dependent on your goals, so you can decide the time frame for that. Another important thing is that have a goals list where okay, this is the goal, these are the goals I want, or these are the goals I actually need to sort out, and then have a goals achieved tick list where you actually go back and reflect and be like, okay, fine, this month I was meant to do this and this and this is what I managed to do, so that you'll be able to keep track of your progress, so that you'll be able to actually monitor what you're doing, what you're not doing, what you still need to do. That will actually help keep everything in order and keep everything in place for you for the future. Okay. And then there's a lady I follow on Instagram. She said something very, very, very important. She said, when you have big goals, let's say, for example, you're planning on buying your car cash, but you don't have any money at the moment. That is a big goal. And let's say your car is, it's an example, guys, it's 150,000 rands. So you need to raise 150,000 rands. And I think that's put a time frame to it. You want to buy it in the next 2 years. So the thing is, that is a big goal. So if you look at it as the 120 rands and 50,000 rands, sorry, you're gonna freak out, because you're gonna be like, oh my god, this is a lot of money, where am I gonna get this amount of money? So what she said is, try and break down your big goals into smaller portions so that it's easier for you to achieve. So for instance, take the 150,000 divided by 2, which would then be the 2 years, and then take the amount you get there and divide it by 12, so that each month this is how much money I should actually try and put away, so that in the next 2 years I'll have the 150,000 and I'll be able to afford buying myself a car cash. I hope I'm making sense. So basically, overall, the most important thing to take home for this video is that you have to set goals, because that's actually gonna build that thirst and that hunger and that drive and that ambition inside you to actually achieve and be a better version of yourself. And it's actually going to give you a sense of direction in your life, I feel. And when you do set your goals, don't just do short-term goals, but also do your long-term goals, because those are also very important. You need to see you need to reflect on where you see yourself in the next 5 years, 10 years, etc. And when you do have big goals, like how I made an example with buying car cash, when you do have those big, like huge goals, make sure you try to break them down for yourself, so that it doesn't feel like it's a bit too much for you. It doesn't feel a bit too overwhelming for you. Got it. So don't forget to click the like button, subscribe, share with your family and friends. If you do perhaps have another method of goal setting that you use that has actually worked for you in the past years or in the past year, please don't hesitate to leave it in the comment section below. The aim of the channel of the Mentorship Corner is to basically empower people and to actually help us as a country and like a world, as a people, to be able to live our fullest lives, to be able to live to the fullest, and to be able to be the best that we possibly can be. So it's actually there to help you guys. So if you've got any comments on goal setting, any suggestions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the comment section below. So as I said, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So it's from me to you. It's from me, your host, Nomthandazo Sibiya. This is now goodbye.